Yo, what is up guys? Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. Just a quick preview for a heavyweight fight that has just been announced. Fabio Wardley will be taking on Jarrell Miller on the 7th of June in the UK at Portman Road, that is in Ipswich. It's Ipswich Town's stadium, their football club. And obviously Fabio Wardley is from Ipswich, so this is a hometown fight for Fabio Wardley. And yeah, the opponent, Jarrell Miller, is an interesting one in my opinion. The WBA interim title will be on the line as well, for what that's worth. Me personally, I don't really care about that sort of thing. When it comes to the sanctioning bodies, we can argue that neither guy deserves it, is what it is, don't really care. Fight itself though, I actually quite like. I think it makes sense, especially for Fabio Wardley. Wardley has operated at domestic level now for a couple of years in the UK. In most of his fights, he's looked pretty good, dismantling guys like Nathan Gorman, of course, Nick Webb, and recently he dispatched of Fraser Clarke in one round in one of the most brutal knockouts of 2024. Prior to that, obviously, he fought Fraser Clarke for the first time. That fight was a back and forth war, scored a draw. But Fabio Wardley in the rematch really kind of put that first fight behind him with that devastating performance. And after that, I think naturally we wanted him to push on and step up in level. And I think Miller does represent that. Now, we can argue how good Miller is. Where does he stand in the heavyweight division? I would certainly call him a top sort of 15 heavyweight, maybe low end of a top 15, maybe just outside of it. But regardless, I still think that would be a step up for Fabio Wardley. Miller's coming off a good result over Andy Ruiz. He drew that fight with Andy Ruiz. I felt he beat Ruiz that night. People are going to say, well, yeah, but Andy's hand was fucked up, etc. I get it, but, you know, I felt Miller outworked Andy Ruiz and deserved the win that night. So, as far as I'm concerned, he's coming off a relatively credible performance against Andy Ruiz. And I mean, even in his loss to Dubois, like he showed in that fight, he's got a great chin, he can take punishment, and he gave Dubois some uncomfortable moments, I would say, with his pressure. Never had any real sustained success, but there were times when he was like low-key getting to Dubois just a little bit. And obviously, like, Wardley is nowhere near as experienced as Dubois. Wardley turned to boxing late, took up boxing when he was 20, I believe. No amateur fights whatsoever. Couple of white-collar fights. We know the story, but, you know, this is a big step up for Fabio Wardley. And, you know, if he can't get rid of Miller early on, or can't put a significant dent in him early on, then, you know, Miller's going to do his best, at least, to keep coming forwards. And with that big frame he's got, with that weight he's carrying, he can make it an awkward night, a tough night for guys who are not ready, for guys who are not fully prepared, for guys who are just not at the level. He's the type of guy who I think could expose those type of fighters, you know. So yeah, I'll be interested to see this fight. Wardley, I think, is rightful favourite. He's got the quicker hands, quicker feet, more one-punch knockout power. And if he was wise, I think he would be boxing and moving in this fight, trying to take advantage of Miller's slow feet. Don't get involved, snipe from the outside, pop the jab, look for the looping right hand behind it. Don't stand your ground too much against Miller because you allow him onto you and you allow him to, you know, throw those clubbing shots to body and head. They're not the cleanest shots in the world, but they can add up. This fight for me is we're going to find out just how much Wardley has learned from that first Fraser Clarke fight. A fight where he got too involved. A fight in which I felt he gave away his best attributes. I don't think he made the most of them in that fight. Now, he did in the rematch, from what we saw, but, you know, it was so quick, we don't really know. I think this fight, Wardley needs to be disciplined. Like I said, needs to use that speed, the foot speed in particular, and really keep this outside, be explosive and snipe from the outside. We know what Miller's got to do. Miller's got to test that tank, try and get close, try to dig to that body, try to draw Fabio into a bit of a rough sort of a rough fight. But Listen, I like this fight. I do. I've got no complaints with it. The only complaint I guess I could have is it's for an interim title, but WBA are going to WBA, right? So that is what it is. But as for the fight itself, I'm looking forward to it. I actually, I'm unpopular, but I do like Miller. I find Miller entertaining, for better or worse. What does that say about me? I don't know. But I find his trash talking funny. I find him captivating. And there are trash talking boxers in America, but I find most of them corny, to be honest. I don't really buy into it. But with Miller, for whatever reason, I find him entertaining. And I like Fabio Wardley as well, to be fair. So it's one of those fights where I'd be happy for either guy to win. I think Wardley is my favourite right now. So, yeah, interesting. Interesting fight in my opinion. Should be fun. There was a press conference today and, yeah, Miller kicked off as he does. Started screaming the house down about Fabio Wardley making a diss track about him. Apparently, I've not heard, but yeah, that's what Miller was upset about. And he certainly made his voice known about that. But yeah, I think this is a fun fight. Maybe I'm easily pleased these days, I don't know, but I'm looking forward to it. What about you guys? How do you feel about this fight? Are you like me and low-key looking forward to it? Or don't you really care for it? I think it's a good step up for Fabio Wardley, considering who he's fought previously. I think it's a good step up. But anyway, share your thoughts below. Been your guy Delboy. Peace.